Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Shout out to Ken Hagerstrom from Ram Rugby USA for hooking me up with an MLR match ball. So, it's pretty dope. Shout out to MLR for sending the journos a bunch of polos. Earful of Dirt team got theirs. Thanks in advance again. But I want one of those jackets you guys are wearing, alright? Didn't do an episode last week because there really wasn't a whole lot of news. Pretty much a bye week when it comes to news. There was the Glendale versus NOLA match, which was streamed live from the Rugby Town stream, which was pretty awesome. It was the first MLR on MLR streamed match, so that was a big deal. Glendale ended up scoring 38 points to 14? Yeah, 14 points on Glendale. For the most part, when it comes to that match, we talked about it last week. I don't know about Glendale's form. I don't think they played like they could to an extent. I think that they played kind of sloppy because I've seen them play very, very clean. However, they scored 38 points, so it wasn't exactly close. Especially, I think it was like 3 tries to 0 so far early in the first half, and then, Matt Houston was able to, not Matt Houston, but Taylor Howden, was able to set up a score right then and there towards the end of the first half. You saw some interesting footwork at the end from Micah Cruz, man. He dipped around like 6 dudes. That was pretty awesome. And, it was pretty much a dominating match for Glendale. What you really want to see from them is they're in their next run out is them being extremely crisp. All right. I think what may have caught up to them was the fact that they're currently training 2 days a week. And you can do that as pros because the system's installed, and for a little while I think they're going to be able to do that. I don't know if it's this year, but at some point they will have to change their training protocols when it comes to practice, especially as the league moves towards full professionalism and not just half professionals and half part-time guys, or half full-time guys and half part-time guys. But you really saw the difference between a new team and a team that's been together for 2 years. When it comes to some of the other teams, I think we're going to see with Houston, the experience together and playing matches together is going to pay a lot of dividends. But I also think that for New Orleans in their second timeout, I think they're pleased with what they got, the kind of data that they needed to again increase their training intensity. And they have a match this week against Houston. Houston returns from their match that they hosted to New Orleans at their home field. Should be the first match at the Shaw Field, which will be awesome to see as well. Moving forward, there was big signing for Seattle, Mozak Sampson. That was really good. Canadian international. That was great. Anthony Salabar was signed by San Diego Legion. That came out on a broadcast on the CW when they introduced 4 players. He's a Cal lock. So, he's big enough to be a lock. He should play lock. He's a Cal center, and he'll probably play center for San Diego Legion. And, moving on to, I guess, over the weekend, we had Rugby United New York host the Ontario Arrows. Wasn't really an advertised deal. It was at Iona College. It was just their first run out. The Arrows changed up 5 dudes from their last match, so we really didn't see the same thing that they threw against Houston. And it was a good match for Rugby United New York, who is playing really an exhibition season this year and will be a full member in the 2019 league year. So I think they've put together something solid, but you kind of wonder what they will look like next year, how many of these guys will be the same. If they are the same, they'll have a lot of cohesion. They definitely haven't added their foreign players yet and who they'll be able to recruit. Also, there was some big news in the Midi Olympique and then in Rugby Rama with James Kennedy's talking of a partnership with, I think, with both Stade Francais and Stade Toulouse. I would say player exchange, but it would probably be like for the players that are healthy and cleared from Rugby United New York to go over to Stade Francais in the fall, because the full season for MLR will be in the spring and summer going forward next year. During the top 14 off season, so we'll go to the academy and probably even make an appearance for the top 14 sides, which would be really cool. So lots of really good stuff happened. And then there was some weirdness. This fella named Clinton Courtney. Yeah, Clinton Courtney. He's a physical therapist, I think, in New York City. He had tried to sit on the trademark for Major League Rugby a couple years ago. Has a website out there. He even tried to sell MLR gear, not this logo, obviously. But you don't have a registered trademark, and apparently he's about to get one, even though Major League Rugby has a registered trademark. As far as I know, the league is very aware of his efforts to mess around, and the league is taking appropriate action. There's a lot more money involved in Major League Rugby than this random guy who's tried to be a trademark sitter. And the best way I can explain it in terms is, like back in the day when, domain names were going for sale and you could only get .coms and not .tvs and .cos and .uks and whatnot. You had a bunch of people buying domain names, right, that they were never going to use, but that they invested in so that they could sell. And, some of these guys made a bunch of money. And that's really what I think he's doing. But, it is what it is. Check out my interviews with Kenny Scott, Alex Tucci, and Angus McClellan on Earful of Dirt this week. If not on YouTube, on SoundCloud. Should be available on Friday, which will be tomorrow. So, I'm Aaron Castro for this week's MLR News and Notes. Like, subscribe, comment, get in the conversation, and see you guys next week.